A postal bungle by the Johannesburg Metro Police will see more than 2.4 million traffic fines being scrapped. The Administrative Adjudication of the Road Traffic Offences Act stipulates that traffic fines must be posted by registered mail, but the Johannesburg Metro Police Department used secure mail to send out notices of offences. Well, joining me now in studio to talk a bit more about that is the National Chairman of the Justice Project of South Africa, Howard Dembovsky. Thank you so much for joining us. So how did this happen in the first place?
Well, firstly, the infringement notices sent by the JMPD have been sent by registered mail or secure mail or hybrid mail. There's so many different names for it since the 22nd of December 2012. Prior to that, from the 1st of June 2010 until the 22nd of December 2012, they just sent them by ordinary mail, so it was an even bigger mess. And unfortunately, what has happened is since them coming on board with respect to sending it out as the Act prescribes, there have been a number of different postal strikes, etc. That's affected delivery. And in terms of Regulation 3(1)(b) of the AARTO Act, an infringement notice that is posted to an infringer must be issued and served on that infringer within 40 days of the commission of the alleged offence. And this is what's really led to this. However, there's other issues that have come into it now. And those other issues are that the Road Traffic Infringement Agency has failed to send out courtesy letters, and it's failed to send out enforcement orders which have to follow a courtesy letter due to the fact that it's cash strapped. It hasn't got any money to pay the postal fees because the volume of AARTO infringement notices, particularly issued by the JMPD, is so astronomical that it would require an expenditure of somewhere in the order of 17 million rand a month.
So what is the JMPD, indeed the city, doing to try and fix this?
Well, I wouldn't know what the JMPD is trying to do to fix it. I do know that they've been lobbying various groups, etc., to have the requirement for registered mail scrapped because it is so costly. But that doesn't actually fix the situation, because at the end of the day, an AARTO infringement notice works on a precept of set timelines. And if you do not have a start date, you cannot have another timeline to go to. So that is your problem.
So what's going to be the impact for motorists, though, of these 2.4 million traffic fines?
Well, I certainly don't think that they're just going to be summarily cancelled. I think everybody's throwing parties right now.
Is that wishful thinking?
Absolutely. I don't think that they will be, but people do definitely have the right to make representation on an AARTO 08 representation form, please not in the form of letters or emails or phone calls. Do it in the prescribed manner, make representation that this infringement notice was not served on me within the prescribed time frame, and or it hasn't proceeded to the subsequent processes under AARTO, therefore it should be cancelled. And those should be successful representation.
Are we likely to see then more legal action over this? Because it does seem very complicated.
Well, I certainly hope so. There is a company called Fines for You that has taken the JMPD to court with respect to the infringement notices that they issued over a period of 2.5 years, which were all illegal. Apart from that, there hasn't been any other legal action, and it's actually quite amazing considering that the Road Traffic Infringement Agency has been the one that suffered the most financially out of this thing, because the JMPD has pocketed all of the revenues that they've collected, and it doesn't belong to them. Half of it does, the first 50% does. Thereafter, everything else belongs to the Road Traffic Infringement Agency. They wouldn't be cash-strapped today if the JMPD hadn't cheated them in this fashion.
So they ought to be pursuing legal avenues to claim that money back from JMPD.
But under the Constitution, they can't. So, you know, and I think the JMPD knows that all too well. So we can't have two state institutions going at each other in court.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. That was the National Chairman of the Justice Project South Africa, Howard Dembovsky.
Transport authorities want Parliament to change the law in order to allow them to send traffic fines using other ways and technologies. They are currently required to use registered mail, which they say is expensive. At the same time, the national rollout of AARTO will go ahead as planned, even as questions are raised about readiness.
According to the Road Traffic Infringement Agency, RTIA, Johannesburg motorists who think traffic fines sent to them by ordinary mail are invalid are mistaken.
Those tickets are valid. In terms of the law, if you want to contest those tickets, you'll have to send in what you call a representation in order for the agency to look at the circumstances surrounding that, and the agency can actually say to you whether you still need to pay or not. However, those tickets, because you have in your possession what we call proof or notification that you did commit an offense, you need to pay.
The law states that traffic fines should be sent by registered mail. Something Justice Project SA says the Johannesburg Metro Police Department has failed to do.
The problem is that from day one, the Joburg Metro Police Department has decided it's not going to act within the prescripts of the law.
RTIA plans to approach Parliament in order to amend legislation so that authorities can send traffic fines via other means such as email. The JMPD, which has been accused of not following the law in sending traffic fines, has declined to comment. Meanwhile, authorities say the AARTO system will go ahead as planned. It was introduced by government in a bid to make roads safer and change driver behavior. But the pilot project in Johannesburg and Pretoria has been plagued by problems, prompting opposition party and lobby groups to again call for it to be scrapped. Sibongile Mkani-Mpolweni, Johannesburg.